too many things going on at one time. I mean, started yesterday off with no meetings today, then 2 meetings kind of back to back, and then prep meetings, post meetings, and after action reviews and everything else. I'm like, oh, man.
The meetings will continue until morale improves.
Please, sir, can I have another?
Could have been an email. Yeah, if we could just schedule every moment of the day, that'd be fantastic. I'm going to need you to come in on Saturday.
So I do like the fact that these, Zoom sessions, just kind of like the open Zoom sessions, are great for trying to avoid the over scheduling. Now people are kind of misconstruing them as, let's just have one really big long meeting. Like, no, that missing the point, man. Missing the point.
Gosh. Did you see the new Amazon headquarters proposal for Virginia?
I did not.
I'm going to find it here. I'm going to send you a link.
This is just
Where the heck is it? It's their new, East Coast headquarter proposal.
Yeah.
Here you go. You ready? I send it in Skype, actually, so that you can see it on your computer. There you go.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
My concept is soft serve.
Jeez.
It's DNA inspired because Amazon has done everything it can to get inside of your DNA to give you the proper recommendations when you visit their website. Oh,
isn't that the poop emoji?
HQ2, baby. Yes.
It is a pile. Wow.
Yeah, it's something, all right. I mean, it just immediately takes me back to school and listening to the justification of the concept. My concept, I remember specifically, like,
oh my God,
my concept is nature.
Yeah, those were my favorite. It's just like, and
so my concept is my concept is.
So my kids, I was saying something to them and they sent me back this emoji and it was like this little brown spiral. And I was like, wow, that shows like earth and dirt, the rising from the ground. I'm like, no, that's not what it means. And
here,
what are they thinking? I mean, it's iconic, right? Not a lot of footprint in that particular building.
Yeah. I mean, it's what's interesting to me is that we can build these glass towers and cover them with trees and call it sustainability too. Right?
Yeah, which is so
it's a
wacky
force to be reckoned with. This kind of it's something, all right.
And then they have like the three kind of like more standard office buildings that kind of
right. Oh, this is totally just like what they did in Seattle, right? Except there it was the spheres. It was the 3 spheres. Here it's the spiral. But those also are surrounded by the Amazon towers as well. These glass towers. These ones have slivers of greenery in them as well.
It's Amazon's next
sustainability
offices in Virginia will include a spiraling rooftop forest. It's spiraling, all right. Potentially out of control. Oh my gosh, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Computational design at its finest, right there.
It's another one of those. Well, can you do it or should you do it?
Should you? Yeah. It's fantastic. The answer is no.
I'm even kind of questioning the weird little, the actual like form and shape and glazing patterns of the adjacent buildings too. But I maybe the spiral is a distraction from the of the other buildings. You're just like, well, it could be.
Yeah.
Could be nice, but
there's a serious party deck on that upper right tower.
Yeah.
overlooking the spiral.
Oh, is that what they're going
The
to call it?
helix. I'm sorry. The helix. It is called the Helix Building.
So is this going to run into the same problems that the
No. This one doesn't have a hole in the middle. And yeah, I don't know.
well, I mean, don't think I won't. So it kind of to me looks like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Tatlin Tower. It was a tower designed.
Mm-mm.
It was the Soviet Russian version of what was supposed to be like the Soviet Russian version of the Eiffel Tower. And it was designed by an architect engineer, Tatlin. And I had written a paper about it, and so basically it was like this spiral, but it was kind of canted, slightly to the side. Yeah.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Okay, I just didn't know it by that name. Yes, I was thinking of it as you were talking about that one, and like, oh, you're talking about the same one.
So this sort of reminds me of that, but I feel this is gimmicky architecture at its either highest or lowest. I can't. I'm not sure which. Which I feel is it just too much or.
Well, in the spirit of Archispeak, there is a new article on McSweeney's, new to me at least, and I'm going to find that for the show notes as well. But it's been absolutely fantastic because it's talking about these kind of temporary outdoor structures that restaurants are doing to get around the rules of, and it's entitled, and we definitely can't get into it here. It's worth reading, but the title is "I am the designer of this restaurant's outdoor seating space, and this is my artist statement."
Oh,
and
I think
in
I've
kind of
seen
traditional or typical brilliant McSweeney's writer fashion, there is so much Archispeak in this. It just kind of made me think as you were talking about this new Helix building and it being the lowest of, it just seems like, but have we read the artist's statement yet? Have we read the architect's statement yet? Because that, I'm sure, will fully bring to light the justification for this iconic geometry. And my guess is it would sound a lot like this McSweeney's article.
All right.
So we're going to have to, sorry folks, this is a show that requires you to tap on some links. Yeah. Just so that you can, if you're not aware of these things, which I'm sure you probably already are, because this is the greatest thing for architects to talk about on the internet today.
Yeah. There was a conversation going on about that. I believe it was in the Entree Architect one.
Oh, okay.
And they had posted, I don't believe it was the McSweeney's article, but I think it was the like the original like artist statement and things like that. And I was looking at it and I couldn't help but think about the conversations that I've had with, Hopkins Health and everything else when they are talking about air distribution and all of this other stuff. And though, they agree with, the outside dining and stuff, the way that people are going about it is completely wrong. And, I looked at the comments and I kind of saw the direction that a lot of these comments were going. And so I just kind of like threw my hands up and said, no, I don't really want to get into this conversation with them because they're like, oh, where are you getting your information from and all this other stuff. And I'm like, but I mean, there's so many people doing research on all of this stuff. It's just nobody is actually listening to it. I mean, all of like the health officials, like say, Hopkins Health, public policy for health and things like that, who are actually looking for all of these because they look at, not only the health policies, but also like economic impacts and things like that. And so they are looking at how do you regain some of this, like our momentum to like, start to engage in restaurants and things like that. And, all of the, like how do we re-engage our economy, but still, live within a pandemic. And so they've been looking at all of this stuff and they've been doing so much published research, but nobody's listening. Yeah. And it's almost like you kind of bang your head against the wall and say, why aren't you listening? There are public health officials out there that really are trying to get us back into what we would consider a normal world, but they're trying to do it in a fashion that, is safe for everybody, but also, they're looking at the raw data of health. And so when I saw that, I didn't see the McSweeney one, which I am very, very so looking forward to reading that.
Yep.
It is kind of, I'm hoping that it was probably very similar to, I think I just found it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's part Archispeak and like justification of doing the wrong thing, but it's also because that stuff is pretty obviously happening. But it's also social commentary, right? And I love how they end it and say, finally, I would be remiss if I did not thank the government for failing to provide this restaurant with the help it would need to simply stay closed through this pandemic. Their lack of support makes my art possible. And I mean, honestly, like the reason many people aren't listening to the guidance is because it's just guidance, and the version of Facebook you read is a different version of Facebook that somebody else reads, and they're getting the opposite, right? And not only that, but this is all just too much, and people are just trying to stay alive. And because of, this kind of snide remark at the end about the government failing to provide the restaurant with the help it actually needs, all they're doing is providing guidance, right? It's just too much. People just want to survive. And so there's so much oppositional forces happening that it's actually just tearing people apart. How do you survive,
Right. Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's really unfortunate. I mean, I can't believe how many empty buildings we see around, and the buildings are just, businesses are just going under.
Yeah.
So,
but then you have people like Amazon who are going to power forward with brand new buildings. And I know the area of Virginia where this is being built, and there are a lot of existing buildings.
Well, this is seriously a giant slap in the face. It's like, hey, pandemic world, look what we're going to do with all the money we made off of you during the pandemic. Right?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, it's so frustrating. Yeah. There's no tact going on here. It's like, hey, we're going to reveal the next big thing while you suffer. We've been making it all of it off of you, dude.
I don't see the ski slopes though.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you're going to go through all this effort. You're not going to
This isn't Bjarke Ingels.
Maybe they should have. I actually went to.
Is there skiing in Virginia?
Well, I mean, right now there is. I mean, or at least in this area, because there's plenty of snow on the ground, or at least snow enough to ski. Because we did get our version of the nor'easter.
Yep, weather. Something else to talk about.
Yeah, you guys don't get it the way we do.
Nope. Nope. I did go for a bike ride the other day, and we started in the snow, and that was really cool. We were like in 4 inches of snow at the top of the mountain coming down, and less snow throughout the trip, but it was pretty rad. Fresh tracks and powder turns in the snow on a bike is something I never thought I would experience, but it was really cool.
A friend had posted some ski adventures at Mount Baldy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So apparently there is snow up there.
Yeah, Baldy's a tricky place because when they get snow, it's great, but it's a mountain covered in rocks, like really sharp rocks. So they need enough to cover that, and then it freezes over, and it turns into ice Baldy, and it's a very dangerous place. It is the best mountain in Southern California, but it's very hard to get to. The lifts are from the 40s, so it's not very reliable when you're riding up. But if you can get to the top a few times, it's worth it. If the snow is good, for sure. It's a pretty crazy place.
I'll tell you, the one thing that I've never really had any interest in that's skiing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I learned how to ski off the roof of my house and when I was a kid. We had so much snow up in Lake Tahoe area. And that was kind of where I got the bug. And then it was funny because we only learned how to cross-country ski. We didn't learn how to downhill ski. My parents were not into downhill skiing, which every kid wants to do, right? Go down a big mountain, ride a chairlift up. Yes, please.
I will say that, let me restate that. I would probably have interest in cross-country skiing. I don't know if I know for a fact I just don't have any interest because knowing me, it's just like, wait, how do I stop again? Oh, wait, nope, tree. Okay, that's how I stop. Whereas, whereas cross country, I can kind of see, I had a NordicTrack for a while. If it's that, then okay, I'll do that.
I like how you just kind of off the cuff said, I had a NordicTrack for a while. Said everybody on the planet.
Exactly, right? Uh,
Oh
had a
man.
Bowflex once too.
Yeah.
You remember the Bowflex?
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Uh,
How come everybody buys those new? They don't buy them used. Seriously, the used market for that stuff's got to be amazing.
I don't understand why, like, especially now, why that wouldn't be like a hit.
Well, now it's the Peloton, right? Everybody's talking about their
Yeah,
Peloton because they want to spend more money to justify getting fit
yeah.
because community, because internet. Yeah, internet connected cycling device equals fitness.
I don't want somebody like 500 miles away from me yelling at me if I'm not riding fast enough.
Yeah. Well, people swear by it. They do seem to love their Peloton.
I would be swearing. I mean,
Yeah.
Cormac, pedal faster. Yeah, well,
Oh.
insert colorful word enhancers. Now we ain't got anything. Got nothing.
Up to soft serve.
That is so. What the hell? What the hell, man? The thing is so wacky.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to zoom in and enhance. Can't tell what the heck's going on. There's like some really weird stair and ramping going on because it's a very steep slope up the spiral.
I went to a free lecture at Yale School of Architecture last night, and it was Marlon Blackwell,
Oh yeah,
and it was
cool.
fantastic. I should have sent it to you.
Citizen architect right there.
Yeah, I mean, I every time I see his work, I gain even more respect for like what he's doing, and kind of the approach to. You always have this wonder or worry about architects trying to do this more ego boosting thing, and he's taking pride in doing these like amazing pieces of work that are like the cheapest built,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, people are like, oh, this costs $1,000 a square foot. Wow, that seems to be a pretty abusive use of the owner's
A little bit
money.
wasteful.
And
A little
he's
wasteful, don't you
just
think?
like, this whole thing was built for just around $120 a square foot. And you're like, wow, I mean, that's a lot for very little. And so you got to respect like his ability to like be able to like really do really good work for very very little. And I think that's like nobody ever really pays attention to the architects in the middle. It's he goes, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's the talent on the coasts, but
Right, right, right.
and no one's really paying attention to the middle. I mean, hell, I mean, when you and I went to when we saw Rand Elliott, and I mean,
Oh yeah,
I was
Monterey
just,
Design Conference.
yeah, I mean, I was just enamored. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's was everything like my cup of tea? Maybe not, but I mean, everything was done with such this high level of competency, and you dig in a little bit deeper to it on a budget, on a really like tight budget too.
Yeah, there's a modesty to it for sure.
Yeah, and you're just like, wow, how are they getting away with that? And, it's pretty amazing that that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah, that's why I say citizen architect. I guess that could be taken different ways, but to me, in this context, it has to do with spending money wisely and bringing architecture to those who typically aren't, like we're not talking about the types of projects that typically are capital A architecture because of the budget. Whereas this one, they're getting capital A architecture because of and with that budget, right? So confusing, hard to say, but does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I think that's what I appreciate about that kind of work. And like what you said with Rand Elliott too, it's a convenience store, it's a gas station, it's a parking garage, it's a community center, it's the stuff that we saw in the Citizen Architect documentary,
mm-hmm.
right, about Auburn and about Rural Studio. And it really is like it's bringing design and principles of design and the psychology of design and what space can do and affect people to the masses.
Right.
And it's not just reserved for the 1%, which is what we're looking at here with this god-awful spiral in Virginia.
Yeah.
It really is like the us versus them versus like we're all in this together kind of a sense or an attitude. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a totally different perspective. And so, yeah, that sounds cool. Do you know if that was recorded?
It was, yes. So I'll see if they actually like sent out a link to the attendees, or if it was just something that they're kind of keeping in on their own. So I'll have to double check.
Okay. Well, if it is available, we'll put it in the show notes. But it does seem like a really appropriate counterpoint to this Amazon project.
Absolutely.